Hello and welcome back to Across the Gulf Coast. We are now joined by Rick Owen. He is the new president and CEO of the United Way of Okaloosa and Walton counties. Rick, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your background, introduce you to our viewers at home, and then kind of where you see the United Way going over the next couple of years. So let's start at the beginning in your background. Kind of give us an overview of who you are.
Well, I'm a now resident of Northwest Florida. I've been a resident of Florida for many, many years. I'm an Air Force veteran, 27-year Air Force chief. Came to this area back in '88 and in and out through the next 27 years, and enough times that I said, you know what, when I finally leave the service, it's the place I'm going to live. So I've been here retired since 2012. Spent about 3 years working in administration for Okaloosa County, and I had this wonderful opportunity land in my lap to take over the United Way from a very capable guy, Ken Hendricks.
Yeah, Ken's been fantastic. And first of all, thank you very much for your service. We greatly appreciate your service to our country. So now that you're with the United Way, now that you're on board, what are some of the initial thoughts you have, goals, kind of where you see this organization going over the next few years?
Well, I mean, first of all, you know, the United Way is a terrific brand all over the United States. It's well known in any corner that you go to. Here in Okaloosa County, one of the things that I really want to do is create the trust with the public that lets them know that we are the leadership nonprofit organization in this county, that we have the agility to do a lot of great things for our county, or for the two counties, Okaloosa and Walton County, that some of these other agencies don't have. And I just use as an example, just last month our board approved loaning $38,500 to Community Solutions to move some temporary buildings from Santa Rosa County over here for our homeless shelter, One Hopeful Place, that they're standing up over there. That was something that only the United Way had the ability to do, and we were so proud that we were able to do it, and we know it's going to make a big difference for the folks in this area.
You mentioned the United Way being a national brand, and everybody has heard of the United Way, but they might not really understand how you guys actually work and with the agencies and things like that. Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Sure. It's one of those things that I want to try to get retooled out there in the public, is that the United Way represents 41 agencies. We just added 2 more this year, so it will be 43 next year, that cover every single aspect of need in Okaloosa and Walton counties. A lot of people don't realize that any of the charities that they see at various fundraising events and things like that, or receiving checks in the newspaper, those agencies are probably most likely United Way agencies. The United Way provides them funding every year. And they use that funding. They can use that funding for anything that they need in the organization. Oftentimes the checks that they receive are for a specific purpose, and they have to be used for that purpose. So that is something that I really want to make sure that the community understands, is that we represent everything from children and education to financial stability and disaster preparedness, as well as health and prevention across the spectrum.
And these are organizations that you guys go through. You make sure that they're I don't want to say legitimate organizations, but that all their ducks are in a row, and you vet them prior to providing funds to them, correct?
We have a rigorous process. In fact, we just completed what I call phase 1 of the process, which is funds distribution. As a reminder, we are all volunteer driven. So we have these volunteer panels that went out to all of these agencies and evaluated them, evaluated their IRS forms, evaluated their facilities, evaluated their purpose to make sure that they were as good at supplying what the public needs as they could possibly be. These volunteers that went out and did these assessments on these agencies just got back together, and they determined how much they thought they could give to these agencies. That's the funds distribution. That number will come to our full board next month. The second phase just kicked off, which is our campaign phase. And this is where we get, again, all volunteers from the community, leaders in the community that come together. They reach out to other businesses in the community and ask them to make a concerted effort to do a campaign for the United Way. Based on what they did the previous year, these campaign directors, this cabinet, sits down and they said, well, last year they raised this much. I think we can try to bring some more business in, maybe get it a little bit higher this year. And so they just completed their process and what they think they can fundraise. And then that number will come before our board next month. So the two numbers will come together. The full board will evaluate both of those numbers and figure out how to make those two the same. And so at the conclusion of that meeting, that number that they come up with will be our campaign number for what we're going to go into the fundraising phase with.
Now, how can somebody get involved if they do want to contribute? How can they go about doing that?
Well, of course, there's several ways they can do it. They can go on our website and make a pledge. That's United Way, or united-way.org. They can also give through payroll, which is one of the easiest ways for people to give. They can be part of a campaign either through their organization or privately, and they can fill out a pledge card, determine where they want to give their money, and have it taken out of their paycheck every week or every month.
And I know y'all are also trying to new non-traditional ways such as social media now, right?
Sure, absolutely. One of the priorities that I have had coming into this is to get our Facebook presence retooled. We just got our website retooled. Going into the Twitter, my goal is to connect with millennials. A lot of people that are my age are used to the United Way and the traditional ways of giving money. A lot of the younger folks don't see things exactly the same way, and we need to connect with them because they are the next generation of contributors and charitable people for the agencies that so desperately need their help.
Absolutely. Well, Rick, we are out of time, but I know there was one organization that you specifically wanted to mention before we leave.
Absolutely. I have to throw a shout out to Publix. Publix is the biggest contributor to our campaign. They represent right now a full third of all the money that we raise. And it's important, to recognize them because most of their employees aren't the highest paid folks out there, and they're so generous with their money, and we sincerely appreciate all of the help that Publix provides to us.
Absolutely. Rick, thank you so much, and welcome to the United Way.
Thank you so much, Cam. I appreciate it.
Stay with us. When we come back, we'll be in our Pensacola studio to talk about events in Escambia County.